Well, here's something a bit different. This has literally arrived today. Now, the seller described this as an early German steam engine display model. Well, I don't really think any of that is true. It's certainly, I'm fairly certain this is not German. There's no markings on this at all, but it's an interesting design. It is a solenoid engine. You have a breaker here, camera operated breaker, and this would be a plunger from solenoid. Now, interestingly enough, I don't think there is a solenoid in here at all. I think it's just the solenoid has been removed. There's certainly no wiring that I can detect on this at all. So we need to take it apart and have a look. It looks like it's got a copper dummy boiler. This doesn't do anything. It's a dummy safety valve. I don't think this is meant to be in there. It was popped in the top, but I don't think that's supposed to be there. I think it's supposed to be just like this. But yeah, I mean, it just intrigued me, and I had a bit of a haggle with the seller and got it for a good price. So we're going to take it all apart and find out what we need to do to get it running. It's an interesting design. I just like the look of it. I'm fairly certain that this is a commercially made product. You're going to look at the stamped base, you know, and the fact that the things like the crankshaft flywheel mount are riveted on. So I think it is a commercial engine. But if anyone out there recognises it or knows anything about it, please let me know in the comments, because I you know, other than what I've just said, I really know like nothing about this. So, you know, right, let's get it stripped down and have a look. Well, here's the solenoid engine all stripped down, and sadly, there's no solenoid. There is the plunger and the centre cylinder, if you like, of the solenoid. I think that basically all that's happened is the coil at some point has been removed. So I've got two choices. One, I can either try and find a coil that will fit over this former, or just simply replace what remains here with a brand new solenoid, and that's probably the easiest option. But there's not an awful lot to it. As I said, this is just the dummy boiler is just a hollow copper cylinder, a couple of end plates and a cover for the solenoid. I've given the little flywheel there a bit of a polish up, and that's come up quite nicely. But it's not in bad nick at all. It just obviously needs a solenoid, so that's the next stage, to try and furnish it with an appropriate solenoid. Well, here's the solenoid engine all back together. I managed to find a solenoid that was suitable. I had to modify the housing somewhat, because it had a slightly larger threaded end than the original one did, and it has a slightly larger plunger. But no, it all went together okay. Apart from that, yeah, it's looking quite good, cleaned up nicely. The only problem I did have is the solenoid that I used, as you can see, is fractionally larger than the original. So the original back cover plate doesn't fit anymore. I'm going to have to machine up a new one. I'll probably do that out of aluminium. But other than that, no, it's all back together, and it's looking nice. So let's run it. Got it connected up. Let's put some power on. My God, look at that. Even self-starting. I am impressed. Yeah, it runs quite well. The flywheel was really badly out of true when I first ran it, but I've trued the flywheel up on the lathe. But the crankshaft is also very slightly bent. I've tried to straighten it, but there's still a very slight wobble on the flywheel. But as you can see, it's running fine. Let's wind the voltage up a little bit. There you go. As I said, the solenoid that I used is slightly different to the original. It's just a little bit bigger, but you know, apart from that, really, this would have been exactly pretty much as it would have been. As I said, if anyone out there knows anything about this engine, please let me know in the comments, because I still don't really know what the manufacturer, who the manufacturer was, or even where it was made, although the threads are all UNC, so that does tend to indicate that it's probably American origin. Anyway, there you go. That's the solenoid, unknown manufacturer solenoid engine running away quite nicely. Still got to make a back cover for it, as I said, do that out of aluminium. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty much finished. I mean, it's certainly good enough to show running. So, yeah, an unusual little engine, but one I'm very pleased about. I really like it. So, there you go. That's it for the unknown solenoid engine. Hope you enjoyed this little video. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.